There is a quiet moment, usually late at night when no one is around. That is when it finally hits them. The realization that lands like a slow, heavy wave they cannot escape. They lost you. Not like people lose keys or time or chances. They lost the one person who truly saw them, accepted them, stood up for them, and believed in them when no one else would. Now in the silence you left, your absence feels louder than your presence ever did. If you are watching this right now, something inside you already knows the truth. You were never the problem. You were the best thing they ever had, and they are only now starting to understand it. Before we go deeper, if you are someone who is healing, rebuilding, or finally choosing yourself after years of being taken for granted, take a moment to subscribe. This channel is here for people just like you. People who are done shrinking themselves. People who are ready to take back their power, their peace, and their true self. Subscribe so you do not miss the truths that will keep waking you up, setting you free, and reminding you of who you really are. Now let us talk about something almost no one wants to admit. People rarely see the value of something while they still have it. We are built to get used to things. We get used to the good and start to ignore it. When someone is always kind, always patient, always forgiving, and always emotionally there, the mind begins to treat that person like the floor under their feet. Always present, always steady, always holding them up. Until one day the floor disappears and they start falling. That is when they finally feel what they refused to notice before. You were that floor. You held them steady while they took you for granted. You handled their moods. You adjusted to their ups and downs. You forgave things most people would have left behind long ago. And the harder part is, the more you gave, the less they valued it. That is what entitlement does to a person. It teaches them to expect things instead of appreciating them. It teaches them to take instead of give back. And when someone starts feeling entitled to you, your love stops feeling like a gift and starts feeling like something they are owed. This is the harsh side of devaluation. The very things that made you special, your loyalty, your deep emotions, your understanding, your refusal to quit, became the reasons they stopped seeing your worth. Not because those qualities lost value, but because they got used to getting them without having to earn them. And when something is never earned, it is rarely respected. You did not lose their respect by being too much. You lost their respect by being too available to someone who was not mature enough to know what they had. Let that sink in. They did not stop valuing you because you became less valuable. They stopped valuing you because they stopped paying attention. There is a big difference, and that difference can set you free if you let it. Narcissistic, emotionally closed, and manipulative people follow a clear pattern. They crave new things and avoid real depth. They chase what feels fresh because they cannot handle what is real. True closeness needs presence, responsibility, and honest feelings. And those are the things they fear most. So when you gave them the real connection they secretly wanted, something in them pulled away. Not because you were not enough, but because being loved by someone real made them face how fake they had been with themselves. Your love became a mirror, and they could not stand what they saw. So they did what such people always do. They created space. They started arguments over small things. They grew cold with no reason. They began holding back love, attention, or thanks to keep you unsure. They made you feel like you were always almost enough, even though you were already more than they deserved. This was not by chance. It was their way, even if they did not realize it fully. As long as you were seeking their approval, they never had to face their own emptiness. But something happened that they did not expect. You stopped chasing. You grew tired. Not weak, tired. Not angry, tired. The kind of tired that does not shout or beg. The kind that quietly lets go. And the moment you let go, their whole way of acting fell apart. Because people like that do not live on love. They live on access. Access to your attention, your feelings, your forgiveness, your hope that they would one day become the person you saw in them. When that access ended, their mind went into shock. Suddenly, there was no one to take their blame, no one to calm their fears, no one to make them feel special without asking them to be responsible. And in that empty space, the truth they had avoided for years finally came up. The hard, clear truth that you were the one, that you could not be replaced, that what you gave was not ordinary, that it was not something they would easily find somewhere else. Absence teaches the hardest lessons in relationships. When someone is there, people can fool themselves. They can ignore, brush off, and downplay things. But absence removes the lies. It makes them feel what they tried not to see. And no trick, no distraction, no new person can quiet the question that starts repeating in their mind at night. What did I do? And here is something important for you to hear. Their regret is real. But regret is not the same as real change. Regret is not the same as taking responsibility. Regret is often just sadness over losing something easy. They are not always missing you. Many times they are missing the comfortable life they had when you were holding it all together. They miss the safety. They miss knowing someone always had their back. That is not love. That is missing the benefits. And mixing the two is what pulls many good people back into the same painful cycle. If this is touching something deep inside you right now, take a breath, because the next part changes everything. And before we continue, if this channel has reached a part of you that stayed quiet for too long, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Subscribe as a promise to yourself that you will not abandon your own healing. From now on, you will feed the part of you that wants to grow instead of the part that wants to go back. Listen carefully. When someone who hurt you comes back, they almost never return with real truth. They come back with old memories. They come with sorry words that sound practiced. They come with promises that have no real plan. They bring just enough warmth to open the old wound again, but never enough effort to truly fix it. The reason is simple. People who do not do the hard inner work do not return changed. They return the same, only more lonely. And a lonely version of a difficult person can be even more harmful, because loneliness can look like love so well that your own gut starts to doubt itself. This is why you must learn to tell the difference between missing what you gave them and truly valuing you. Someone who values you takes responsibility on their own. Someone who values you points out the exact ways they hurt you. Someone who values you does not make excuses, shift blame, or change the story. Someone who values you knows you do not owe them another chance, just because they now feel bad about their choices. Their pain is not your duty. Their regret is not your job. Their new understanding, no matter how real it seems, does not mean you have to go back. You owe them nothing. Not your forgiveness on their schedule, not your comfort, not your patience. You gave those things freely for years, and they treated them like nothing special. You are no longer an endless supply. You are no longer their safety net. You are no longer the one who carries the results of their weak character. That old version of you is gone, and whether they know it yet or not, the person they are trying to reach no longer exists, because something changed in you during the quiet time after them. Something they did not see coming. You started healing. You started building yourself up again. You started remembering who you were before you gave so much to make someone see you. You stopped explaining yourself all the time. You stopped doing too much in relationships that gave too little. You stopped taking small bits and calling them enough. You began to see that the love you begged for was love you could give to yourself. This is the change they cannot match. You are no longer desperate to be picked. You are no longer trying out for love. You are no longer acting worthy for people who could not see your true value. You have become something they never learned to be. Whole, aware of yourself, steady, and rooted in self-respect that no one can remove because you built it yourself. You built it in the dark, in the quiet moments they will never know about. And this is why you now feel threatening to people like that. True independence is the one thing manipulators cannot control. They know how to deal with your tears. They know how to deal with your anger. They know how to deal with your begging. What they do not know how to deal with is your calm, your quiet strength, your unbothered presence. Because when you stop reacting, they lose their hold. When you stop explaining, they lose their control. When you stop chasing, they lose their story. And the moment they see they no longer affect you is the moment their whole plan falls apart. That is when they truly understand what they lost. Not when you left. Not when they felt alone. Not when they tried to find someone new and found it empty. The real moment is when they realize you no longer need them to feel worthy. If you are still on this path, still healing and rebuilding, this is your sign to keep going. And if this message found you at the right time, subscribe to this channel and commit to your healing completely. Not halfway, not sometimes, but fully. Because freedom from harmful relationships is not one choice. It is many small choices to pick yourself every day until it becomes who you are. Hear this clearly. You are not waiting for them to return so you can feel valuable. You are not waiting for an apology so you can feel seen. You are not waiting for closure so you can feel free. You are now the source of your own worth. You are the one who sees your own value. You are the proof of your own strength. And every day you honor that, you become harder for that old kind of love to reach. Stop waiting to be chosen by people who could not even choose to treat you right. Choose yourself. Choose the part of you that got buried under their changing ways. Choose the part of you that learned to ignore your own needs to keep peace. Choose the part of you that deserved to be loved, not just put up with. Choose the part of you that you left behind while trying to save a relationship where the other person would not even try. Becoming unavailable to bad treatment is not being cold. It is not being bitter. It is not getting even. It is the best form of self-respect. It is what happens when you finally know your own worth. It is the line that tells the world and tells yourself that you will no longer trade your dignity for any connection. You will no longer trade your peace for closeness. You will no longer give discounts on a love that was always worth full price. And here is the truth that will stay with you. Your value was never based on their failure to see it. Their blindness did not make you disappear. Their lack of care did not make you less. They did not decide your worth. They only showed their own limits. Everything you feared about yourself in the hardest times was a lie their actions planted in your pain. And every hard thing you survived was getting you ready for the person you are becoming now. You were the best thing they ever had. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. Because you loved deeply in a world that often just pretends to love. Because you stayed when it was difficult. Because you cared when it was not easy. Because you believed in someone even after they stopped believing in themselves. That is not a weakness. That is a rare gift. And the next person who gets it will be someone who has worked to deserve it. Or better yet, that person will be you, finally giving yourself the love you spent years giving away. Their regret is not your prize. Your freedom is. Their new understanding is not your closure. Your healing is. Their loneliness is not your job. Your completeness is. And soon enough, you will look back and feel something stronger than anger, calmer than getting even, and longer lasting than payback. You will feel thankful, not for them, but for yourself. For the you that refused to stay where you were unseen. For the you that lived through what tried to break you. For the you watching this right now, choosing to grow, choosing to heal, choosing to rise. You are not who they made you feel like. You are who you became after them. And that person cannot be stopped. If this touched you, if even one line reached the part of you waiting for truth, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment with one word that describes the new you coming out of all this. Healing is not one moment. It is a movement. And this is your call to keep moving forward with others who know exactly where you have been and where you are headed. You are the best thing they ever had. But even more important, you are becoming the best thing that ever happened to yourself. And nothing and no one will ever take that away from you.